thinking about today's station, today's place, or today's topic. I feel I treasure this most. But you joined. Thank you so much. Just by thinking about it, I don't know. Today's session will be a little bit tearful or something. Heartbreak. Yeah, today's session, let your heart break fully. In this place, we never be able to fix. How we can leave the place that we cannot fix and completely fully show up and be present. We take the Bodhisattva path. All of you, I know, are on this journey of courageous, fearless Bodhisattva who cannot bear the suffering of the world including our own samsaric mind. So how we can handle with that? So that's the thing we're gonna dive into today's topic. I feel so fortunate to share, and also I want to hear from you. You have been practicing. This is all about why you practice, no? Why you are here, and what brings you here. We are very clear about that. Maybe we should be clear about that if we are not so sure. But I'm sure we came step by step. This is the very natural place to learn. Last week, we really cultivated the compassion toward ourselves, no? Compassion and caring about our own suffering. Then we somehow come to this conclusion that whatever we have been doing or whatever perpetuated habitual patterns we are operated by, it's not going to work. Does not give us even temporary happiness, not mentioned about ultimate happiness to oneself and also others. So we really dive into what's wrong with this and also what's causing this. Before we do that, how about we just go up to the mountain? I like this idea. Just let go of this or idea or the thinking mind. Just go up to the mountain and just rest. See what's happened. Maybe I don't need to say much about this, but just integrate, connect your body, breath, awareness, attention, everything is synchronized. Then somehow miracle happens. So now, before our session start, I want you to clarify your intention, motivation. What is the most important thing in your life? Why am I working so hard at coming to know reality as it is? Come to deepest understanding of reality, self. Then I want you to ask this question. What's impeding me from fully embodying complete full awakening or fully open to love and compassion? What's impeding my spiritual attainment and realization? What's the root or cause or demon? I would say real demon or real enemy to you. Okay, so this is today's inquiry. Then what's wrong with that? Whatever you came up with, that impediment or hindrance to full opening, full embodiment of awakening, freedom, happiness. Again, back to this blue sky-like awareness. And just conclude with this short dedication. May all my challenges and pain become a source of awakening and freedom. May I bring freedom, happiness, and awakening to all beings in the universe and to the world. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining. How to go about this? Actually, I would love to be interactive this session, especially this topic. I feel so dear to me. If we use the metaphor of building the palace, we just came to the wall. This is called the Mahayana Bodhisattva ideal. So we set the foundation of so-called foundation teachings based on this renunciation, ethical disciplines, and so forth. Then now, really, what this foundation is about. You know, we don't stop just building the foundation. Then, yay, we're done. We don't do that. Right? We want to build a foundation, very steady foundation. Reason is we're gonna build a palace. So we just came to the wall. Maybe start with this inquiry, which I throw during the meditation. This what's impeding you, or what's the between? What's the impediment between you and full awakening or freedom, or even just ordinary happiness? Even not talking about the spiritual attainment, just regular life. What's causing you to not fully show up, or your heart is fully open? Really, Buddha talked about suffering. 6 suffering of this, or 10 suffering of that, 5 suffering of that. So why he talked those things? Also come back to this intention, Buddha's intention. We usually skip that part, then came to this kind of our own personal flavors of suffering, then stumble sometimes. So 3 sufferings, that one, right? Yeah, there are 3 kinds of suffering. One is the suffering of suffering. This is the obvious kind of suffering, which most of us are talking right now. Also suffering of change. Suffering of pain, first one, is the just obvious suffering. Suffering we can see in the world. People suffer from the virus, or suffering of pain, war zone, and whatever, emotionally and physically. And also second one is the suffering of change. Things do not last, but we grasp, we want to be in that same way. We want to have a secure job. We want to have a secure relationship. But it's doomed to change. No matter how much I loved my son, he's gone. One of us have to go first. That's the nature of samsara. That's what I was talking about. Samsara, the mental state, or whatever you describe, never be fixed. But we are trying to fix. So that's the struggle. That's called suffering. So that's the second one. The third one, this is the satirist, or actually the most important one. Because that's everybody is included, no matter how people look, everything going well and happy, but no, underneath of that, this is the suffering pervaded in every living being who has a body and mind controlled by this delusion and karma. So that's the satirist one. But anyway, so we can see obviously at least the first one and second suffering. We cannot get it right, feel like, but as long as we're on the bodhisattva path, bodhisattva knows we can get it right and hopeful, completely their heart broken and feel it. I talked about like no skin, when you have injured or something like that, feel more feeling, but then he knows that's not true. It has a complete hopefulness, also hopelessness, kind of holding those two together. And the more work with it, then became more courageous. Anyway, so we can talk more about that amazing bodhisattva path. We have a tremendous inspiration from actually not even from the Buddhist point of view. Just take a moment to think about it. We all know, each of us here showed up. We all know everybody wants happiness, no? And everybody do not want suffering intellectually. We know that one. And yet, do you have this sense of my happiness is more important than neighbor's happiness? Do you have a kind of feeling, even sense that my suffering need to be attended more than somebody else suffering? Yes? Am I the only one? So that's called self-cherishing. Maybe translation may not be correct, because especially in the West, we need to respect self, but like a self-importance. I'm more important than others. So that's the basis of the impediment on the bodhisattva path. Of course, underneath that is this self-grasping, this reification of the self in terms of path. I would like to go into a little bit of contemplation. What's wrong with self-cherishing? What's the disadvantage of this called demon? Bodhisattva called this the demon, the enemy. Buddha called Mala, this self-cherishing thought. You don't know anything about that. What's wrong with it? So I would like to list up what causes. Is that your help? Is that your friend? Make your life happier if you cherish yourself more? You cherish ourselves more than others or something like that. But if we don't really sit down and contemplate or talking about what's wrong with the self-cherishing, then even spirituality become expression or the method of cherishing self. If we are not exchanging, we call it exchanging self for others, then become a very one side. Self-cherishing makes us very overly sensitive and easily offended and take it personally. Everything can become taken in relation to me. Yeah, then of course we miss out good stuff. Always looking for something wrong with it. And if we, for example, we taken something which does not belong to us, based on our self-cherishing, then how can you enjoy, fully, and so forth. Don't feel bad about that because you are not self-cherishing. That's actually important part of it. We have to be aware. We went up to the top of the mountain, right? So we are now talking from there. We are not self-cherishing, but we are talking about what's wrong with the self-cherishing. Our human self is really love that. Basis of all the fear, fears, dissatisfactions. I can talk about that because I know this one very well. Anybody else? The thing is that this self-cherishing, pervading from the grocery store, the kind of mundane at this, all the way to the war nation. It's like a basis of the conflict, basis of all the conflict between individual and groups and the nation, even among spirituality, spiritual groups. This is the demon. It's not our friend. Very destructive nature of it. So first we need to see that. We're going to keep looking at this. Okay, so each of you, maybe this week until we meet next week, really notice your self-cherishing and then see what's wrong with this. Really, is this really my friend or enemy? So I wanted to add a few things in terms of disadvantage of self-cherishing, which actually scripture, Lamrim literature talks about. Actually, many of them are already covered. First of all, make us act in a way that harm others, right? It's obvious. Think about it. Use your example because everything revolves around you. So harming others. Then second, cause us to act in ways we later regret, and in the root of self-hatred. Because I did it this way, that I feel how bad I am, so forth. So it became a source of self-hatred. And the third, make us overly sensitive, easily offended. We went over that. Then fourth, it is the basis of all fear. When we think about the fears. So think about your fearful time. When you felt this tremendous fear, it's self-cherishing, perhaps cherishing to your body, threatening to your body or your family members or whatever. Just use your daily examples. Then fifth one is the breed dissatisfactions. It's impossible to satisfy the bottomless pits of our desire. Sixth, it underlies all conflicts, as I said, between the individual, personal level, and the nation and global levels. Then seventh, motivate us to do harmful actions. In other words, creating bad karma or negative karma in a confused attempt to be happy. stealing, telling lie. Look at all the 10 non-virtuous actions. All are based on the self-cherishing, right? Me more important than others. In this way, we create the negative karma, bringing undesirable situation upon ourselves in the future. See, from karmic point of view, all we are experiencing right now for so-called suffering is a result of self-cherishing. Our current problem is a result of our past self-cherishing action. And the eighth is that, this is actually quite a bit, impede our spiritual progress and prevent awakening. Forget about awakening. This is an important subject to really come to terms with this. Then we're gonna cultivate compassion, love, which leads to the most sublime mind, heart of awakening, bodhicitta. Actually, this might be a very good topic as well if you want to share. What's good about cherishing others as well? Those two things. What's wrong with self-cherishing and what's good about cherishing others. Then equal. What's equal? Like equalities. So we can contemplate on those things as well. Okay, just 1 minute. Take a moment. Let go of this discussion right now. You are not self-cherishing, as I said. That's a very important part of it. Don't get into this kind of self-hatred kind of thing. Oh, I'm too bad. No, just rest in the top of mountain again. Rest in the heart, seat of the lotus heart. Breathe into that, relax into that. The more you relax, the more your heart open, then you can see yourself cherishing. Then you want to let go of it. You don't need to struggle.